welcome back to Weekly Tangents. It's spooky season, and that means we're gonna get freaky on this episode, Dylan.
You said the intro was cringy, but I feel like that was actually pretty okay.
Oh no, don't worry, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh, okay. It's about to get spooky.
Yeah. So Dylan, let me ask you: do you believe in ghosts? Do
No.
you believe that there's a heaven and a hell? Do you believe in the duality of man?
Okay, well, I feel like the last one's a little bit different, but no, yes.
Well, that's fantastic, because we're not gonna be talking about any of that this week.
Oh, okay.
Instead, we're gonna be talking about. Wait, do you hear that, Dylan?
No.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Wow, that was really unexpected, huh?
Yeah, now I can see where the cringe comes in.
No, that was not cringy. We're gonna get back onto the subject here, which is that. Wait, what the heck? I hear it again. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Play my game, at least try, or else you will come to die.
Okay, so I'm playing a game? Is that what we're doing here?
Well, I mean, that creepy voice, I think we should probably listen to it, right?
Jonathan, that wasn't. You didn't even try to do a falsetto. That was just your voice.
Hey, I'm not a voice actor, man.
I mean, you did the for your football quiz, so.
No, I'm a human beatbox machine. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
But with that said, the spirit of Halloween itself just gave me the rules for the game this week. So we're going to have to follow it to a T, okay?
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Your games are always something.
Well, don't worry. It's not quite what you'll be expecting based off this sheet I have here.
Mm-hmm.
The rules are pretty simple. We have 3 categories to pick from, and we're just going to, discuss whatever the prompt is for the category.
Okay.
Yeah, the 3 categories are trick or treat, feet, or food. And I wrote a certain amount of questions for each, so we're going to discuss all the questions for each to be clear. You're just picking the order.
But it's not a game then. I can't win.
No, it's not a game that you win. It's a game that we collaboratively create something together.
Oh, it's co-op. Okay,
Yeah.
I see you. Okay, then I'll start with trick or treat since that was the first one, and I don't like the second option.
All right. The first prompt for trick or treat. Tell me about some of your trick or treating stories. Super simple.
Okay, that is simple enough. Well, one that I think oh God, I am sick. My voice. So one that I think I mentioned on last episode is when I was in like middle school or maybe even late elementary school. My friends and I, not you though, because we weren't friends yet.
No, we were not. We did not even know each other existed.
True. We would go trick-or-treating and, however long that takes, like 2 hours, 3 hours, come back to my house with our, half full pillowcases of candy, and then we would just dump it all on the floor, assign values to different things, and just go ham playing candy poker.
Mm-hmm.
And those are such great memories, and it must have been great for them as well, because I always lost, but I was even pickier then than I was now, where I put Twix in S tier, I put Jolly Ranchers, this and that, and for me, I at the time was literally only Butterfingers, Kit Kats, Reese's, maybe occasionally Hershey's. Everything else can go fuck itself.
Right. So for you, like, you only had your eye on a certain prize. Anything else, that was a complete wash. You could leave that all. It didn't matter.
Yeah, the only downside was those were also their most highly rated candies. So, like, I didn't feel bad because the candies I lost I wasn't going to eat anyway, but I never gained anything either.
This was only a losing game for you. You were solely in it for the competition.
I guess I was. Really, I was.
Dang, I could respect that level of drive.
Yeah, what about you?
So, because I grew up in a Christian household, we didn't really trick or treat per se, but I have 2 distinct memories. I'm gonna go to discuss a Halloween party I went to as a kid.
Okay.
I had a friend called Miranda. She would host Halloween parties every single year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one year I was invited 2 years in a row. The first year I didn't dress up, but everyone else did. It was like a competition and everything, right? So the second year I was like, okay, I'm not making that mistake again. Just like 1 year later, probably same rules. She said everyone to dress up, right?
Hmm.
So I show up in a Grim Reaper costume that's like a rib cage that can like shoot blood inside itself, not at other people, to be clear.
Hmm.
And it's just like super sick, had a scythe and everything and a mask, and no one else is wearing it. So I'm just like, bro, what is going on? Last year I stood out. This year I stand out even more somehow. What is going on?
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, especially with you and your chain wallet, I think that it matches your personality perfectly.
Hey, I'll just say, like, it was fantastic. I was living out my dream that Halloween.
Yeah. You find if I throw in another story?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So for me, sometimes I would go and get Halloween costumes at Party City or whatever, like stereotypical person. But my dad, when you're like fourth or fifth grade, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the original Karate Kid. Probably not, because you don't see any movies.
I actually have seen that one. Thank you very much. He was an inspiration.
Not the Jaden Smith one, Jonathan.
I don't think I've seen the entire Jaden Smith one, to be honest.
Okay. Well, he goes to like a high school dance at some point and he needs to hide. So he ends up wearing like a shower curtain as his costume. So my
Mhm.
dad thought that was a cool idea, and I was in Taekwondo as a kid, and I liked some of that stuff. So he's like, okay, how about I build that for you? So he ended up like making a PVC pipe harness, and then put a shower curtain around it. And I gotta say, it was definitely my most heavy Halloween costume, but especially because like I enjoyed the movie, but I didn't care tons about it. But my dad did, and so did other adults that were handing out candy at the time. So I definitely got extra candy from them from the adults who were like, "Oh shit, Karate Kid reference! Like this kid's costume's dope."
Hey, that's actually kind of genius, though. Put up like with an hour or two of suffering and you reap the rewards from it.
Yeah, exactly. And then lose it all in candy poker.
Well, yeah. Did any of your friends recognize it or no?
Uh, honestly, I'm not sure because I have a hard time remembering high school, and this was like 15 years ago at this point. So I'm not
Fair
sure.
enough. Fair enough. But yeah, I never got to experience that kind of trick or treating, like with costumes and getting to do all that. So I'm kind of sad.
Yeah, I'm really surprised because like one of the friends that I went trick or treating with, ooh, Matthew, he his family was super Catholic, and they were absolutely fine with it. So I guess your family's just the one that took it one step further.
I guess, but I will say what I ended up doing actually might have been better in all honesty, because like our church would hold like a festival where you're like you play games to earn candy, like carnival games, like like throwing a football in the net or like trying to knock down bottles or with a ball or trying to get the ring around the bottle, like those kind of things, and they have like floaty slides and bounce houses for the kids. So like it was probably actually better, to be honest, but I still
Hmm.
never got the traditional trick or treating experience.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's something that you should definitely do at some point. Just you're 5'6", you're short enough to still pass as a middle
I could
schooler.
pass it off, just cover my hairline, and I'm good.
Yeah, that could be your Halloween costume. I'm the most terrifying thing of all, a balding
Oh god.
middle-aged man.
Hey, I showed you that I could pull off a sick Kaiba
Yeah,
cosplay, right?
yeah. I did enjoy that.
But yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of that. Do you have any more trick or treating stories? Or are you ready to choose your next category?
I'm choosing food because I still refuse to choose feet.
All right, food. All right. So that there's plenty of like Thanksgiving foods or St. Patrick, like beverages and themed things. Why aren't there really any Halloween foods other than candy? Like, can you like think of what a Halloween food is, and then if you like it, dislike it, that kind of thing?
Yes, literally anything pumpkin. Pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread.
I really associate that more with Thanksgiving, to be honest.
I mean, I think that's fair, but I don't think that they're mutually exclusive. Like there's Thanksgiving turkey, there's Christmas turkey, or Thanksgiving ham, Christmas ham. I mean, some you might associate more with one than the other, but I think that like pumpkin is a huge thing.
That's fair. So, do you like pumpkin themed products or not really?
For eating, no. For looking at, sure.
What about for drinking? Like, there's like pumpkin spice beverages.
I honestly don't think I've ever tried it because you know me, I only drink water. So if I'm going to go out of my way to get coffee, I'm not going to take the extra step to get something that I'm not even sure if I'll like when I hardly even like coffee.
Well, why don't you try pumpkin spice water?
That sounds disgusting.
People have cucumber water. Why not pumpkin spice?
I I guess. Sure. What about you? Do you like pumpkin anything?
I like pumpkin pie. It's probably one of my top two favorite pies. The only one that might compete would be banana cream
Am I
or
allowed to do those
apple.
not real pies that are like Oreo pie, Reese's pie?
We're not counting those because those would trump those two. But no, pumpkin pie is pretty good. Other than that, though, I don't really think I do like a lot of pumpkin things, or at least I haven't really tried a whole ton.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it also makes sense that there's not as many foods associated with it because, I mean, you brought up St. Patrick's Day. Maybe you have food examples, but I can only think of beer for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, beer and
Whereas,
just like green colored things.
yeah,
McDonald's has the their McFlurry. It's like a Irish themed thing because it's green, shamrock or something. I don't remember. I think it's literally just mint added to the Oreo McFlurry. But
yeah,
yeah,
if that, but it's not like people go out of their way to eat like naturally green foods. Not everyone's not downing broccoli on St.
well,
Patrick's
maybe
Day.
they should.
Maybe, well, honestly, they should be doing that every holiday. But whereas like Christmas and Thanksgiving, since they're, I mean, Thanksgiving America specifically, but still, they're like holidays that actually revolve around sitting down at a dinner table with family, so it makes sense that they
Yeah.
have foods associated with them. Where Halloween just having candy, I think, is enough because, like, you think of Valentine's Day, and I mean, maybe you could think of like dinners that people tend to have, but I don't think of steak as a Valentine's Day thing. I think of just chocolates.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Cause I was actually gonna mention Valentine's Day too, but I'm like, wait, chocolate for Valentine's and then chocolate for, uh, Halloween. So then I was like trying to think of other examples too, and I'm like, champagne for New Year's, but no, that's fair. So maybe I'm stretching the example a little thin, but I thought it was a good enough point of discussion.
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand. I will say, I was just going through my head of what holidays do and don't have foods, and I got to say, out of all of them, because I'm not a huge fan of Christmas stuff, I'm not a huge fan of Thanksgiving food. I, man, I don't love how psychotic some American people are, but Fourth of July definitely has some of the best food.
Honestly, as far as American holidays go, absolutely. You get yourself a nice grilled hot dog or cheeseburger, get some chips on the side. Like it's not great, but it's so inoffensive and so hard to screw up. It's just like, yeah, I like this. I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, plus it's so much less work. You don't have to put the hamburger in the grill for 5 hours and wait. Like you have to do that with a turkey, and then it comes out like okay.
Yeah, and then you have to cut around the bone of the turkey, and it's like a whole huge nightmare. So yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, I get it.
yeah, but
But yeah, all right. Choose your next category: trick or
okay.
treat, feet or food. Although some might consider the last two the same category.
Oh my god. I hope that's only you. I'm gonna go with, of course, trick or treat.
All right, prompt number two for that. Have you ever gone to some kind of pumpkin patch, festival, horror amusement park, or anything related?
Yes.
Do tell.
No, that's the end of the question. It's
Okay,
just
cool.
yes or no.
Yeah, okay, then I guess yes for me too. Do you want to move on to the next one?
No, I guess I'll elaborate.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, our elementary school, or I mean, kind of yours, you went to it, what, 1 year?
You're talking about no, I went there 3 years, kindergarten to second grade.
Oh, I just thought second for some reason, but that makes more
Nah.
sense. Um, so yeah, at that school, during Halloween, they would set up different booths and all of that stuff that you could go to in the library. They'd have like a haunted house and all that stuff. And it's nowhere near like professional level, but it's elementary school haunted house. And I've gone to that. And I remember, I think I only went to that in like high schools because some friends were volunteering at the place. And, it's just like middle schoolers and elementary schoolers popping out at you. And you're like, wow, this is a haunted house.
No, that's where you go. Ah, no, children, my biggest fear.
Oh no. Yeah, and then I guess also in Korea, when I was teaching there, we set up like a little haunted house for the kids to go through, but it was in like a I don't know, 10 foot by 8 foot room or something. So it's not a very big haunted house. And it was just like we put up trash bags everywhere as like dividers to try to make it a path.
Mhm.
And I mean, for kindergartners, anything's like entertaining or scary. So they would jump and scream. But for like the fourth and fifth graders, they just thought it was amusing because Halloween's not a thing there. But it was just like, wow, this is our parents are paying $1,000 a month for this.
Money well spent.
Yeah.
So wait, so Halloween just isn't a thing there? Like,
Not really. I mean, this kind of dates when the episode is, but I'm not sure if you heard, but there was like the first Halloween get together in Korea since coronavirus stuff has calmed down there because their rules and regulations are super strict. And
yeah.
Itaewon is like the foreigner capital
Oh
of
shoot, yeah, yeah,
Korea.
and I think I heard that like people like need CPR because they got like seizures and everything, right?
Well, 140 people died so far. Another 100 someone have been hospitalized because they just got trampled because there was about 100,000 people shoved into Itaewon, which is just like one of the dirtiest parts of the Seoul metropolitan area because it's all the foreigners and all that stuff. So it's not upkept as much by government and that stuff, and it's just like full of bars and shit. And it's like that's where one of the red light districts is, and it was just
Yeah.
so packed and everything. Where people were drinking, partying, and all this stuff too much. Where certain people get knocked down, fall on the floor, and other people are too drunk and busy having fun to notice that they're crushing people's skulls.
Jesus. So when I hear like something like that, I would think like that'd be like obviously a huge tragedy, but also if you told me it happened in Florida, I'd believe it. But
Yeah.
like that's not even all that much of a joke to be honest. But like in Korea, this is a huge anomaly, right?
Um, I don't know. Yes and no. I mean, for Korea, at least when I was there, whenever there was an additional COVID outbreak that happened there, it was because people went to like the club partying scenes and stuff like that. Don't forget that Korea, at least from one study that I saw, a couple years ago, which I continue to quote, has the highest alcohol consumption per person. So Korea loves to party with alcohol and is very depressed at the same time, unfortunately. So,
Gotcha.
like for young like college students, and mid 20s and that stuff, they'll go to Itaewon just during the weekend to party and Halloween and that stuff, even though Halloween isn't celebrated as a whole. It's just like, you go to the area where the foreigners are and they're like, yeah, we party for Halloween as adults. They all just join in on that.
Gotcha. So maybe taking all the factors into consideration, maybe it isn't all too surprising.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising that there were that many people and it was that, big of a thing. But like whenever some kind of tragedy happens in Korea that's not related to like North Korea, it's normally involved at like a bar or club.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Still tragic though.
Yeah, tragic.
But yeah, as far as for me, like getting onto the topic of, horror themed things I've been to, I've never been to like a horror amusement park despite living in California and having like 5 within driving distance.
Yeah.
But I have been to a pumpkin patch, like a legit one, not the one that was like in Marietta.
Hmm.
An actual legit pumpkin patch. I like a horror maze and everything. And that was one, a lot less scary than I was hoping, but also genuinely kind of fun. And we got actually lost in it. So it was, genuinely enjoyable. And then they had like good like food vendors. They had like pumpkin carving things at a dance floor. It was actually genuinely one of the more fun days of my life, probably looking back on it.
Is that what you do at a pumpkin patch? I've gone to a pumpkin patch as like a small child, but you just like get on a tractor, look at their thousands of pumpkins, and then pick one out.
Well, this might have been their thing because it was more so advertised for the horror maze. So there was like some pumpkins, yes, but it was really more of a corn maze than
Okay,
anything.
that makes sense then.
Yeah, so that might explain that. But honestly, like I think I had more fun doing this than I would have had at the traditional thing, anyways.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my second time saying that this episode. But like I said, genuinely one of the more fun days of my life. So I would absolutely be open to doing that kind of thing again.
Yeah, for sure. Well, then, one of these days, Jonathan, when I visit you back in the uh, greater San Diego, Los Angeles area, whatever, we can go to one and
Yes.
shoot our pants.
Or maybe if I ever visit you sometime, then we can shit our pants over where you are.
Haha, let's just shit our pants. That's what I'm getting here.
The Brotherhood of the Shitting Pants.
Oh my god.
All right, on that note, trick or treat, feet, or food.
Well, Jonathan, I'm going to do this like I do with my candy poker, and you want to save all of your most valuable pieces for last. So I'm only going to do feet at the end, and we're going to
Okay.
rapid fire just feet after feet after feet. So,
Oh man, rapid firing feet. What a dream.
yeah, I know it's your wet dream, I'm
Oh
sure. So let's go
god.
with food.
All right. How do you feel about food dye? Like, does it gross you out at all? Like seeing like green eggs and ham, or are you like, all right, no, I'll eat that. That's cool.
I thought you were just going to say, "How do you feel about food?" And I was very confused about your
nah,
question.
keeping it Halloween themed, food dye and
Yeah,
all that.
I have no issues with it. I've never noticed a flavor. I mean, yeah, you can get weird colors, but I've always thought that it was pretty fun. Like, I mean, you said that you went to the same elementary school as me during first grade, so I'm not sure if
Mhm.
you had it, but my class actually had, the Dr. Seuss green eggs and
We
ham.
did, and it grossed me out so much.
Well, I just don't like and didn't like eggs and ham, so I was just like, okay, I mean, it's cool, but also I don't like this when it's normal colored anyway.
Yeah, kind of a loss for you there, admittedly. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I know it tastes the exact same and it doesn't affect the flavor profile at all. But it's just something about the aesthetic is so wrong. It messes with my head. Like I would still probably eat it today and still probably enjoy it, but it would be a mental hurdle I got to get over.
Yeah, but that's only for things that are like so out of place like that, I assume. Like, do you have an issue if someone makes vanilla frosting and now it's suddenly, red and green for Christmas colors?
Admittedly, no, that's okay in my book. Like that kind of thing's expected. I guess like sugary desserts, it's actual like savory food where I have the issue, I guess.
Well, how often does savory food come up with food dye?
Oh, let me tell you, every single day in my life. No, I don't know. Hasn't been. It
Okay, I was
hasn't
going
been
to
for
say,
a long time.
I can only think of the one specific example in first grade. So even if you have one more example, please tell me.
Unfortunately, I didn't really put much thought into this topic.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, okay, I got green eggs and ham, and you used that as your example. And after that, I'm like, clearly Jonathan has experienced this much more than me if he's making it a question.
Okay, moving on. Trick or treat again, I'm assuming.
No, I'm going with food because I feel cheated after that shitty question.
Okay, what's the spookiest, most disgusting thing you've ever eaten or refused to eat? Doesn't have to actually be Halloween themed, just something disgusting.
Oh, well, I'm curious if yours is one of the things that I've done to your food. But,
No, that's coming up later. Don't worry.
oh, okay. Let's see. Food, I mean, you know me, I'm just a picky eater. So probably just like vegetables.
Oh god, vegetables, they're so spooky.
I know. I mean, vegetables.
Yeah, vegetables, am I right? But nah, that's fair. For me, it actually is. I don't know if this qualifies as a fruit or a vegetable or some other stupid exception, but one time in college, I was trying to be open minded and trying new foods because, I tried Indian food, loved it. Tried Vietnamese food, loved it. Tried Thai food, loved it. Friend said, let's try some Greek food. Generally, I like Greek and Mediterranean food, like
Yeah.
shawarma, gyros, like just, all that stuff pretty damn good, right? But my friend wanted me to try grape leaves because they're one of his favorite foods. I want you to Google grape leaves just while I go on and, discuss this.
Yeah, let me get an idea.
Okay. Like I took a bite out of a grape leaf having no idea what to expect. When I say it is the most violently disgusting thing I've tried to eat, I am not exaggerating. I took a bite and I genuinely started to like feel bile rising in my throat. It was the most single disgusting thing I've ever had in my life.
I mean, honestly, it kind of looks like bile.
Yeah, like it's just I'm sure it's like a delicacy or something that they genuinely appreciate like in their culture. But I'm sorry, that food is straight trash.
Yeah, it does not look very good, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, things that we've tried that seem like they would be disgusting aren't even that bad. Like you and I at the small Korean store that was by my house in Murrieta, we
Mhm.
tried pork butt one time, I want to say,
Yeah,
and
that was fine.
it just tasted like meat. Like you don't actually have to eat out a pig to eat pork butt. So that was fine, and then even those like horrible muffins that I tried to make as terrible as possible, where it's like I added garlic, lemon, peanut butter, just everything in the mixture, and it just came off like this doesn't know what it wants to taste like. It's just very confusing. But I'm not throwing up here. It's just like it's it's a question mark.
Yeah, I was like, 4 out of 10. Like I'd never eat it again, but also like I ate multiple of them. Like it wasn't terrible.
It was an experience, yeah.
God, that was one of the worst moments of creativity we've ever had.
Yeah, but I mean, you said it's coming up later, so do I not mention then your amazing egg sandwich experience?
Oh, if you choose trick or treat next, it's coming up.
Okay, let's go trick or treat then.
Have you ever pulled a prank or been on the receiving end of one?
I have I've, at least from my memories, only really pulled the pranks, and I mean, why have myself tell it when I can have you tell it?
Okay. When I lived with you for those 3 months or so during, the peak of COVID, it was an amazing experience. It opened my eyes to many things, including your worst moral moment in your life, where I was trying to be a good person, making myself a good grilled cheese sandwich, trying to be independent and all that. And you were like, his back is turned. What if I just add some lemon extract? You just dumped it on like one specific part of the sandwich.
Yeah,
So when
not
I was
even the whole thing. It was just one quarter of the
Yeah,
sandwich.
and that was the thing. So I kept eating the rest of it thinking like the sandwich seems fine. Why is it so like bitter and sour in this spot? So I like opened up the sandwich trying to see if the cheese was moldy. It wasn't. The bread wasn't moldy, and I couldn't like come up with any discernible reason why it would be bad. So I just kept eating it because I'm like, it's food, right? And like it was so bad. I was suffering so much, and you're just standing there going, just watching me suffer until you did the big reveal, and I think I threw it away.
Yeah, I think you did as well. But those are my favorite kind of pranks. Is just like unexpected food things where I
Yeah, 'cause that's
remember.
largely harmless.
Yeah, unless I find out you're allergic to lemon extract. Uh,
Oopsie.
yeah, but I remember if you remember our friends Luke and Levi, I think during middle school, because they're brothers, so they always came over together, Levi would always go to bed earlier than Luke and I. And it was just like, come on, man, if we're going to play a game that requires 3 people, why you got to play us like that? So I was like, hey, if I fix you up a drink that'll help like wake you up, would you be fine with that? And he's like, sure, I'll drink it, whatever. And he's kind of like half dozing on the couch. So I go over to the cupboard and I get, every spice in the cabinet, garlic, your favorite lemon extract comes out,
Oh
paprika,
god.
all that stuff. Go into the fridge door, get, like mayo. I get, um,
And you get like hot sauce or something?
hot sauce, just everything that if you think like this does not go in a drink, let alone go in a drink mixed with everything else, then that's basically what I threw in there. And he's just so conked out that he doesn't even bother to smell it, despite it being very easy to smell when it goes up to his lips. And he drinks a big gulp of it. And normally he's like a very, very quiet, timid guy who, doesn't shout, doesn't do anything, and he bolts up and he just starts running and going, did you poison me? Did you poison me? What was that? What the hell was that? And it was just hilarious as he's going around the house. So I and Luke dubbed it Dylan juice from that point on.
You're
And it
so
was,
terrible. So did Luke have any idea what was going on, or was he just like, wow, my brother's kind of losing it?
oh yeah, if you think I was bad to Levi, I was Levi's savior. Luke was terrible to Levi. So he was there and it's just like, yeah, should we add a raw egg? And I'm like, I don't think you can drink that though.
No,
So
no, not unless you're some weird bodybuilder dude, and we're not getting into that. But yeah, no, that is you're so terrible. What I'm learning is you're a master of terrible concoctions.
yeah, I mean, these are all years apart though.
Yeah. There's a terrible concoction that I don't know if you remember middle school. Like certain members of our group, we'd sit all around the circular tables, which had a hole down the middle, and we
They
would like
do.
mix food together and drinks and put it like in a milk cart and pour it down the hole. And come
I
out like,
remember that.
why did we do that? Like that's
I
literally
didn't do that. I brought my lunch. You guys were the fucking heathens who are like, let's just make disgusting soup in the middle of the table every day.
let's just fuck up this janitor's life. I guess looking back on it, we were pretty terrible.
You were pretty terrible.
But yeah, I remember everyone would like watch it like fall out in clumps out of the milk, and we're like, huh, that's disgusting. But we kept doing it.
Yeah, but is this a prank or is this just disgusting food
No,
things?
this is just us being horrible like preteens. Just it
Yeah.
came to mind. As far as pranks, I didn't go through too many, but I was a very sensitive kid. So one time when I was like 6 or 7, my cousin James, he sprayed me with some silly string and I bursted out in tears because I didn't want to be sprayed by silly string. So no
Okay.
one pranked me again after that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess I just always enjoyed pranking, but if I'm going back to like 6 years old or something, I remember when you're that young, you either really go overboard or really go underboard because you don't understand the concept of a prank.
Hmm.
So, two things that I did, both involving my dad, is I remember one time I like went over to the sink and my dad loves drinking Coke, and I put literally just one drop of water in the thing, and my dad was drinking it, and I just start cracking up. I'm just like, oh, he's drinking it, he's drinking it. My dad's like, Dylan, what did you do? Because we're in the bathroom, like he's not sure if I put bleach in his drink or something, and I'm like, I put a drop of water in there. How does it taste? He's like, oh, it's great. Just don't do that again. I'm like, but if it's great, why wouldn't I do it again? It's like, just
that's
don't.
that's so funny. You thought you got him for sure.
Yeah, and then the thing on the opposite end of the spectrum
Oh
is
no.
my dad would snore when he would sleep, and sometimes he'd sleep on the couch. So I'd be like, he breathes through his nose when he sleeps. I wonder if he'll wake up if I just hold his nose shut. So I would do that, and then my dad would wake up gasping for air. It's like, Dylan, what the fuck are you doing? Where did you learn to do that? And it's just like, okay, so I'm either killing my dad or putting a drop of water in his Coke.
No in between.
Nope.
Honestly, that's just childhood curiosity for the second one. Like what I did as a kid is like my parents would be asleep and I go up to them and I'd pry their eyes open because I was like, would that wake them up? And no, it didn't wake them up. So I'm like, what if I just shine a light in their eyes while I pry their eyes open? And that didn't wake them up either. So maybe we were just very curious, terrible children.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just getting more and more flashbacks of how terrible of a child I was. I remember, if Matthew was over at my house and his mom called his Matthew there, I'd say, "No, he's dead," which is like for me, I thought was hilarious at the time, and looking back, it's like you sadistic, just psychopathic child. Like, why would you say that to this guy's mother? And then different things of like, I remember, if my dad had a big box that we were like getting the Christmas tree out of, I
Mhm.
would, like, oh, I'm gonna go inside the box, roll the box around, and they, oh, it's so fun in here. And then I took a screwdriver and I pretended like I stabbed myself in the head with the screwdriver.
God.
And then, he opens up and he's like, Dylan, are you okay? And I'm just like, did you think it's like, Dylan, never fucking do that again? I'm just like, why? It was hilarious. You thought your son was dead, and just like, man,
Yeah. Pranked you.
pranked you.
God. It's just things where we don't understand the like weight of it as kids and looking back. Oh my god, this is the real cringe of the episode.
Yeah, no, but I'm looking back at it with a smile on my face. So I still got some psychopath in me. I'll tell you that.
There we go. There we go. Whew, so what's next? Do you want to do food or trick or treat?
Well, let me ask you: are there any highlight questions in either left? Because if so, then let's get them out of the way. If not, then it might be time to get the feed in here.
All right, let's see. Let me take a look at it. I would say that there's probably. Oh my goodness, my cat butted the mic. I'm so sorry. We're not going to cut that out. Anyways, I'd say that it gets more interesting as it goes on, to be honest, because I want things to go a little off the rails towards the end. Not that they go off the rails, but you get the idea.
So, do the feet questions get better as well?
Yeah, the feet questions get better as well, actually.
Okay, then, man,
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
I'll just go with the food one next because I think it's a good question.
All right, hit me with the food one.
If you were stranded with me for weeks, island, desert, wherever you want to be,
Yeah.
and if I died first and you were starving,
You
would
mean
you
when
eat
you die
me?
first?
Yeah. Would you eat me?
I'd say no, not out of like moral, obligation. Oh, it's my friend Jonathan or anything like that. Just that, aren't there like negative side effects for cannibalization in humans?
Yeah, I've heard it can give you severe health effects.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, if there's nothing on the island and I'm starving
Yeah.
to death, but even then, it's just like it's got to be perfect timing because if I have enough food to last me, another week or two, then I'm not even going to eat your body after that because then your body's also probably just rotting. So it's
Yeah.
really got to be like there is no food left, and you die right there, and it's like okay, well, it's either eat him and die from, food poisoning or don't eat him and die of starvation.
That's fair. That's fair. So honestly, as far as what I eat you, I feel pretty similarly, but like I'll draw the fine line here, and I don't know if this makes a difference or not. I would not eat you raw, but if I was able to cook you, I would be mildly more open to the possibility.
You'd eat me while wearing a condom. You would never do it raw.
I would never do you raw.
Thanks.
But yeah, moving on from that one, let's see, let's see. This one's more of like, vaguely related, but under the trick or treat category, how do you feel about truth or dare? Both, either as a kid or as an adult, that kind of thing.
I always enjoyed it as a kid because it was fun, but also as a kid, I'm sure this varies to person, but half of the time, if someone asks you a truth, you're just like, oh no, I'm not willing to say that. So you just lie about those anyway. It's not like you
Yeah.
feel super bound to it. But it would be just like similar to our jacuzzi talks that we would have of just like fun ways to ask more personable things. The
Yeah.
dares could be fun, but like as you get older, unless you're super into drinking games, which I guess you can, do the dares for as like punishments or stuff. Most of the dares are like, I dare you to yell penis really loud. No, that's going to wake up the neighbors and disturb them. Oh, you're right.
When we finally gained a conscience after our childhood years. No,
Yeah.
I liked the game as a kid because it was genuinely like getting to know getting to know, getting to know one another in low stakes, right? But I felt
Hmm.
like as I got older, I grew more and more to dislike it because I felt like it was just an excuse for people to hook up, and like I'm like, bro, just stop hiding behind the game and just get to it. Like,
Yeah,
just to be
because
real with you.
that was always the highlight of the questions of like, do you like X person or I was never at a like multi-gendered party, so I never had like kiss this person kind of thing, but I know that some of our friends did. So yeah,
Yeah.
it really did seem like it was just an excuse to get down to who do you like or kiss someone that you think they like.
Yeah, like this might be a bit explicit for the episode, to be honest. So your choice if you choose to cut it out. But I have a friend who like generally everyone agrees is attractive, and she says that like one time she went to play Truth or Dare, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I dare you to kiss insert person," or "I dare you to like let your boobs be squeezed and everything." I'm like, "Bro, y'all were just horny and trying to like use her to like do that." I'm like, Truth or Dare as an adult is kind of nasty.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, bro, just make the move. Don't hide behind the game. That's kind of pathetic. Like, maybe that's a bit too strong of a stance, but that's honestly how I feel about it.
Yeah, but honestly, what's even a good dare as an adult?
Well, that's actually part of the thing I was like gonna include in this question because it's like I don't know. It's just like, haha, I dare you to up your 401k contributions.
Yeah, like I feel most of the things that you could do couldn't be very immediate. Like, oh, I dare you to throw in a game of League, do this meme build. It's like, okay, give me 40 minutes to, jump into solo queue and do all this shit. Where like as a child, you have a fun time of like, I dare you to do a handstand or a cartwheel. Whereas an
Yeah.
adult, it's like, man, I can't do that shit. Okay, here, I failed. Done. What's next?
Yeah, it's honestly one of those games that largely stay in the past. But I mean, I actually extrapolate a little bit from here and say I honestly feel the same about certain drinking games. Like King's Cup is fun. Beer pong, that's fun. That's fine. But like
Yeah.
the ones that are like card based, where it's basically the exact same thing as Truth or Dare, I'm like, you were trying to do this with a prompt to make it easier for us. And y'all are like, if you've looked at those cards, I'm like, you people are demented and sick.
Oh, card based as in like where they have words on the cards.
Oh yeah, I should have clarified. Not like blackjack or something. I mean like the ones that are like drink or do insert thing, and I'm like, bro, like you're gonna give people alcohol poisoning because most of these things that you are making them do is messed up.
Yeah, because is it King's Cup or is it a different thing that reminds me of the word king for some reason that has just like a standard 52 card playing deck that's like, oh, five is guys, all the guys drink. Oh, four is girls, all the girls drink and all that stuff.
I think some people play King's Cup like that. I think I played it a different way, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, all in all, like that, honestly, I'm pretty fine with. Really, I think my biggest thing here is like I don't want to be like overtly in a like crossing any lines while people are stupid drunk, and also I don't want anyone singled out because like alcohol poisoning is a thing, and that kind of thing. So it's just, I don't know, maybe I just have a weird aversion to this kind of thing as an adult.
I don't know. I feel like the only way that I could do it as an adult with the dares still being fun is just playing a game of gay chicken with the boys, if it's all the boys, where it's just like, I dare you to, tongue Matthew's asshole. It's like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And then it's not sexual because you're like, none of us want this.
Yeah, no, we would do that regardless of truth or dare. But no, honestly, like that's real though. Just like knowing like it's all for fun and there's not any sort of like ulterior motive behind it. But I guess
Mhm.
that might be the real thing I'm getting at. Because with the example I gave earlier about my friend, there were ulterior motives. That was not for fun.
Yeah, I think the moral of the story is people be too horny.
Honestly, though. But nah. Let's see. Going on from that topic. Let's see. I'm gonna say there's one more question from each of these categories worth even discussing at all, and then we'll go to the feet category.
All right, hit me with them.
All right, for the last one for food, are you willing to eat food that has passed its expiration date?
Yeah, it depends on the food though.
Like, for example, like bread, like that's probably fine for like a couple few days past it, as if it's not molding, right?
Yeah, like if you don't see any noticeable mold, I mean, realistically, I know when I took a food and health class, you're not supposed to, even if you don't see mold. But that, I'll play it by ear. But certain things like Greek yogurt, if
Oh, dairy,
it's
I don't mess with like more than a day past its expiration.
yeah, exactly. But then there's certain things where once they get past their expiration date, they don't like get you sick, but they're just like the quality has gone down, like whether it's, not like fresh chicken, but like chicken tenders or shit like that where it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, this isn't very good anymore. Or like tortillas. Tortillas are flour based, but I never see them get moldy. They just like lose any elasticity and they're just like,
Go
oh,
hard. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that don't you know that's how I make hard shell tacos? They're actually just like a year old.
Oh, they're finally aged.
Yeah, but nah, like I get you. It's just I feel like as I've gone older and older, also with, like leftovers. If it's 3 days past it, I'm like, it's not worth the food poisoning. I have to like work and I have responsibilities. I'm not risking it.
Yeah, but I do love how certain food gets better with time. Like for me, lasagna the day of is fine. Lasagna the day after, fucking top tier.
You for real?
Yeah,
Oh dang, I maybe it's just because my family's only made the frozen lasagna. They don't make fresh lasagna like I know your mom would make
I
sometimes.
I think that would be it because my mom's
Yeah.
fresh lasagna. Yeah,
I've only had your mom's fresh lasagna once. It was the vegetarian one on, I want to say, I don't know what holiday it was actually. Maybe Easter, somewhere around there. Because I
was
think
it
that
when
was,
you were living with me?
yeah.
Then it would have had to been Easter.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, that must have been, like, right when I moved in then. Because I only lived with you about 3 months.
Yeah, yeah.
But with that said, like, that lasagna was damn good. Your mom can cook.
Lasagna.
But yeah, moving on. The last question for trick or treats. So there's like Christmas specials, there's like New Year specials, that kind of thing. Off the top of my head, like I know Halloween specials exist, but I just can't really think of any. Like, are there any that stood out in your mind? Whether it's a movie, TV show, any kind of thing that you really
Absolutely.
like?
Right here is where you draw the line of, I enjoyed Nick as a kid. You were a like Nick one trick. You
Yeah,
only watched Nick. Disney, the shows were fine, but the Disney Channel original movies are where it's at. The Hocus Pocus, you
they're
got
coming out with a second.
yeah, they got that. They got Halloween Town 1, 2, 3. They have just like oh yeah, Disney Channel's Halloween original movies are they were like some of the highlights of the Halloween season as a child.
So this is what I've been missing out on then. That's the real thing. Is I even like in writing this, I looked up Nickelodeon Halloween episodes and like I watched those and I don't remember a single one of them. They just faded in the background. They weren't that good, but from the sounds of it, Disney actually pulled through all the stops and were damn good at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Nickelodeon, I can't think of any Nick movies other than things that were existing shows like iCarly, Victorious, or stuff like that. But Disney, maybe some of their shows would have Halloween episodes, but those were probably comparable to Nick ones. But, Disney has their own made for TV movies that they would have, and those were where it was at.
Maybe that's what it is, like the level of investment. I don't
Yeah.
know. I do kind of feel like I missed out a little bit on that. But dang, so that's good. You have qualified certified Halloween stuff.
Yes, I do, unlike you.
Now the only question is the Nightmare Before Christmas. Is that Halloween or Christmas in your mind?
It's Halloween.
Okay, okay. I've never seen the movie, so I'm gonna have to watch it today or tomorrow to be in the spirit.
Really? I feel like we watched it in chemistry at some point.
If we did, I probably wasn't there in all likelihood. I missed like half of that class.
Well, anatomy for sure. Chemistry, yeah, at points, I guess.
But yeah. But on that note, I'd say we've gone through all the worthwhile food and trick or treat questions. So are you ready for the real highlight of the episode?
Yeah, last 10 minutes, just feet, feet, feet.
I mean, literally, though. 6 straight questions of fun.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Question 1. Can we agree that the part of the song "Smell My Feet" is really weird and out of place?
No.
No, we can't agree. I always like, even as a kid, I'm like, why would anyone ever want to do that? Like, that's not even a funny trick. That's just disgusting. And I thought that was like a 5-year-old. It's always bothered me, like my whole life. Massive pet peeve.
Well, since you have been a person who was too scared to get pranked and have not done much pranking yourself, then you just can't relate because, yeah, I would absolutely love, this is something that I would even do to my girlfriend right now. I can imagine, while she's sleeping, just shove my foot in her face and, have
You're,
her,
you
yeah.
did not change at all from being a kid, Dylan.
No, I mean, at least I'm not holding her nose while this is happening.
You're gonna stick your toes up her nose that way. It's the same effect. Oh
Yeah,
my
exactly.
goodness. No, I am that part of the song is weird. There's no convincing me otherwise. That like it is not a prank. That is just like weird behavior.
I mean, one, it's definitely a prank. Two, even if it's like a bit more of a weird prank, if you're making a song that, first of all, should probably rhyme, and two, at least has some kind of trick aspect to it, like, okay, what's a big Halloween prank? Trick or treat, egg my house, trick or treat, TP my tree. It's like, those don't rhyme, and those are things that kids actually do and you don't want to encourage. I don't think many kids are actually going like sneaking into elderly people's houses and shoving their feet up their noses.
Clearly, we grew up in different areas.
Uh, we did not.
Ooh, but all right, we will agree to disagree because I don't want to banter on this for 10 minutes.
Okay.
But question 2, what do you think of foot fetishes?
I find them an amusing joke, and I find it amusing that the more that we've included this in the podcast, the more the lines get blurred of whether it's a joke or not.
Oh yeah, no, it's like that one. Oh shoot, I can't remember the name of the effect. Was that one effect where like you're parodying something so hard it just appears genuine?
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
I used to know the name of it. But nah, I just find it funny. Like, I'm very fucking neutral towards them because my thought process is I'd much rather do that than many other things. And I'd much rather not do that compared to other things. So it's like firmly in the middle. So, like, it's perfect joke territory in my mind. I don't necessarily understand why it's gotten the mainstream, like, awareness it has in recent years, but maybe like I've heard guys are just genuinely that creepy, but it's very mid to me.
Yeah,
Like,
didn't you say that like one of your coworkers or something is just like, yeah, feet.
okay, so that's actually a funny story. Hopefully he never ever listens to this podcast now. But so like I always thought it was a joke, and when I would ask him, he's like, yeah, I'm just joking and everything. But like one of my favorite artists, as you know, is Yaron Bake. And one day I was in the car with him and his girlfriend, and he decided to put Yaron Bake on. And one of her album covers is like one picture is her giving a peace sign with her face, and then the other picture on it is literally just her feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I made a joke about, oh yeah, he must really like this album and this song because it has feet on it. And then the girlfriend was like, oh my God, he loves feet. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, are we still joking or no?
Oh God.
So I never found out. And I'm going to be disturbed till the end of time, but I really don't want to think on it.
Yeah, but with how often we make these jokes, for all we know, you're that person to someone else.
That's true. Hopefully, no, I would say hopefully people will be able to distinguish, but I know they can't.
Yeah.
So we're going on to the next part of the feet section. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Isn't it weird how the US uses feet and everywhere else uses like meters and the metric system and all that? Like, I don't know, like someone tells me something is 3 meters away. I'm like, okay, let's see. 1 meter's like 3 feet. I could do the math, but if you tell me off the top of my head, I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, the U.S. is also just fucked because with the metric system all being in tens of just like meter, centimeter, no one uses decameters, but they at least are a thing. And where it's just like, okay, 10, 10, 10. We go from 12 inches to a foot to 3 feet to a
In a
yard.
yard, yeah.
I don't even know how many yards to a mile because we're taught feet to miles. So then it's like 5,280, 60.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's just like these numbers are all so arbitrary, and I don't know. Plus, if you're using 12 inches off of like someone's actual foot, that guy's got a big foot.
Yeah, honestly. But I think it's kind of funny because like I genuinely think like measuring with meters and whatnot just makes so much more sense and is better. But like one of my friends, he actually changed his Google Maps to tell you in like kilometers instead of like miles. And when I was like, something is 2 kilometers away, and it has like a British accent or something, which that was not a British accent in retrospect. I don't know what I was doing. But point being, it's just like I'm like, dang, I don't actually really want to take the time to learn. Like I was born with this system and I'm gonna keep it, even if I recognize it's inferior.
Well, yeah, it's hard because it like we don't know feet, miles, and all of this stuff off of just like, oh, well, this is approximately this much when you like measure it or something. You just know it off of a feeling of being used to it that much. So like I know how to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit and vice versa. You do 9/5 plus 32, so 0 Celsius, which is freezing point for water. 9/5 still 0 plus 32, 32. 32 Fahrenheit is freezing for water, 0 Celsius is freezing for water. I can do the math, but even though I've gotten a bit more used to Celsius, like I'm just not ingrained to like I can go outside and be like, this is what 77 feels like. I don't go
Yeah.
outside and like this is what 8 Celsius feels like.
And like the thing is, like we said, we can learn it. It's just like there's no practical use for it. We'd be the only one doing it, just be like we're doing it to show off.
Yeah, yeah, because even if it is useful for the rest of the world, it's like the guy at the Mexican restaurant who's just white as can be, and he's like, "Oh yes, I'd like a quesadilla and tacos," and it's just like, dude,
Yeah.
say tacos and quesadilla, say quesadilla, goddamn,
Yeah. Like just stop trying to fake it. But
yeah.
nah, the one thing I will give in defense of the US and its measurement systems, and this is only a conditional one, is at my last job where I was quality control for like a metal parts manufacturer. Whenever we had to like measure things in super small things, like in American measurements, I'd go down to the 10,000th place, right?
Hmm.
And I always got like smaller range of error for parts in the US system than, the, I think metric system is what it's called. And so it's
Hmm.
just like, I'm not sure if it's actually more precise when it's down to digits that small. Probably not, because like you said, you just moved by power 10. But just coincidentally, for whatever reason, whoever used the US system wanted stricter measurements. So in my mind, I was like, respect. US cares about precision.
Yeah, I do not know, but that is interesting.
Yeah, because I always had huge margin of errors on the other parts, and the other ones are like, if you're 2/10,000ths off, you got to reject it. I'm like, oh my god, that's so fucking small.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to the next question about feet. Who is your favorite song feat, as in feature?
Oh, dude, I honestly did not know what you mean. Who's my favorite song feed? I mean, I don't have enough artists that I listen to where I know exact featuring. I mean, are collabs considering featuring?
I'd consider it, yeah.
And I really like Loco, and he's like a Korean hip hop artist, and he and Dean or he and Hwasa both have collabs together, and I always like the vibes when Loco's collabing with someone.
Honestly, that's fair. Like, I don't see a ton of K-pop collaborations, but whenever I do, just the ones I've listened to have tended to be pretty solid.
Yeah, is your favorite feat, something to do with Yaren Beck then?
No, she's actually done very, very few features. I can actually think of zero off the top of my head.
Okay.
Um, my favorite feature would probably be there's a guy named Denzel Curry, because I can't remember the other guy's name. I'm gonna look it up really quickly. Uh,
Okay.
but Denzel Curry is my favorite rapper who's still alive, right?
Yeah.
And so he was a feature on Youngblood's song. There we go, Lemonade. And I'm not a Youngblood fan by any means. He has a couple songs that I think are good, but I don't follow him. But that song was actually just such an unexpected like mashup of the two. Like it's got like rock elements, but it's definitely like primarily a rap song, but it's not like new metal. It's just like it actually hits pretty hard. It's just a solid, good song from a collaboration I never saw coming.
Okay, that sounds like something that I'll never listen to.
Fair enough. Only other good one, like off the well, not the only other good one, but off the top of my head, Bring Me the Horizon, my favorite band, it did a collaboration with I think it was some Japanese artist or whatever, and I'm like, wow, British screamo with Japanese artist is not what I expected, but it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I can imagine like clashing the cultures because I mean going back to K-pop featuring, I know that Blackpink has done it with like Lady Gaga and Selena Gomez.
Yeah, they have on ice cream and something candy, sour candy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, both of those songs are pretty mid. But all that aside, like, yeah, no, there's definitely some power like behind it. Like, I like getting different influences into that music.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Second to last question in the feat portion, and second to last question of the day.
Ooh.
What would you say is the greatest feat of your life?
Oh, the greatest feat of my life. Your feet, Jonathan. I
No,
love your
no,
feet.
no. Feat as an accomplishment, but I appreciate the compliment.
I'm sticking with your feet. No.
My
I
feet
don't
are your
know.
greatest accomplishment.
They are. I've
You built them
crafted
in a
them.
lab. Yeah.
That's how they're so perfect.
Aw.
Um,
Yeah.
for me, I mean, I don't feel proud of anything I've ever done. So depressing, but true. So I
Dang.
don't know, just going off of like things that I feel that I should be proud about, or acknowledge that there's something there, would either be like getting the lead role in the play my freshman year, actually going to Korea to teach English, or even if this is like still not super far along, just the podcast itself, because I tried doing YouTube videos by myself for a bit at different points. I mean, you made Twitter and Instagram and that for everything, and both of us
Yeah.
either never started or stopped after a relatively short amount of time. Where this, in the first couple of weeks, maybe there was like a week gap in between, but I gotta say, like for the past 3 months or so, I don't think we've missed anything. So for me,
I
that's
don't think
probably
so.
my biggest ongoing feat.
Yeah, and we've like shown some real dedication to it. I think that definitely counts for something.
Yeah, yeah. What about you? Is it my feat?
Yeah, your feet are my greatest accomplishment, but my second greatest, I do feel similarly about not really actively being proud of anything off the top of my head. But one thing, like moments I've been proud before, and maybe I shouldn't be, is just like I guess situations and jobs where like I admit I can be kind of hard to work with because like I recognize my value at a certain point. I kind of let it get to my head. So like there's been times where like bosses have clashed with me, and I'm like, go ahead, fire me, and then they don't because it's like I'm too valuable at the job. I'm like, haha. You can't fire me because I'm too good. So it's just like that's a little bit of pride right there, where it's like I can have personal issues with someone and they just cannot replace me because I'm that irreplaceable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if this is in your biggest feat, which also might make it a biggest double-edged sword if it
Mhm.
is what about getting accepted into UCI?
It was up to that point in my life my biggest accomplishment and the thing I was proudest of. Because even if it wasn't my number one choice of university, it was still like is still to this day a top 10 public university in the entire US.
Hmm.
So like to go from essentially high school dropout, though not legally, to being in UC Irvine, that was like, dang, that is not supposed to happen. That is actually a fairy tale story, and going to get to turn everything around. And
Yeah.
then, well, you should hopefully skip the last few chapters of that book.
Yeah. Well, Jonathan, I have a foot question for you before we get into the juicy final foot question.
Okay, I'm ready.
What size shoe do you wear?
I think it's an 8 or 8.5, depending on brand, but generally 8 is the safest choice. Um,
Well, I just want to give you shit because I don't know anyone who says 8.5 for shoe size. You say 8.5. But
I'm that guy. I like decimals, but nah, I don't know. It's just like I feel like that question in general, like I don't know that actually provides much insight because it's always seemed like a height thing to me. Like everyone around my height, like an inch give or take, is more or less a size within each other. So it's always like I know your size just by knowing your height. If I know anyone around your height, so it's just like I don't know how much value that question even has, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, I there's definitely some outliers because I'm 5'9" and I wear a size 10. My friend Ethan from middle school, who you've seen at least somewhat,
Yeah.
he's at this point like 5'10", 5'11", and he wears sizes 13s, 13 and a half.
Okay, yeah, I'll admit that's a bit of an outlier there. So maybe there is some value in the question.
Yeah, well, also something like going to Korea, they use, I think, millimeters as their size.
That's
I
so
could
damn
be wrong.
precise.
But I'm a size 280 in Korea, and 280 is literally the upper limit in Korea of if you go above 280, which is a size 2 which is a size 10 in America, I guess. You most stores do not carry that. Where here, like, not to say that tons of places carry 11, 12s, 13s, but most places carry up to at least 12s with a decent stock.
Yeah, it's not uncommon for me to see those. Like I'll see at least a couple.
Yeah, so I guess it's culture is also part of it.
So is there like a range for the shoes in Korea? Is there like a 280 millimeter, 270, 260, or is it like I need a 263 millimeter shoe?
I they might go to the fives, but if they have, I haven't seen those as much. Normally it's 280, 270, 260. I think that the flip-flops that I gave you as a present, which I honestly forgot even existed.
I'm
I
wearing
think
them right now.
are you really?
Yes.
Oh my god, those are a 270.
Oh, interesting. So I'm around that range then roughly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. That's just kind of interesting. Yeah, like we mentioned earlier with the metric system versus US thing, like just different countries use different measurements. It takes a while to adjust.
Yeah. Yeah, but hit me with your last foot question, Jonathan. Let's go.
This is going to be the peak of the episode. Are you ready?
Yes.
What would you rate your feet on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, okay. That's, I wasn't sure if we were going to go back to real foot questions or not, but now I'm inspecting my foot. Um, I feel like, WikiFeet gives everyone a 5 out of 5, so it's hard to be objective with
Yeah,
it.
unless you're like severely destroyed down there, like smashed your foot under 2 tanks in a row, you're probably getting a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, but I don't know. If I'm trying to be like not WikiFeet biased and just as objective as possible, I think 8 out of 10. Like, I'm sure people have their preferences of like less hairy of a foot, but for me, like the worst foot that I can imagine in my head, which this is a stereotype, but it's a stereotype that I've seen enough times to associate it,
Yeah.
is Middle Eastern guys who always wear Velcro strapped open
Oh,
toe shoes
yeah.
always have just the longest, dirtiest toenails.
I know what you mean. And they're often discolored too. And I'm like, bro, those don't look good.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it's so disgusting. I hate it so much. But the thing I also hate is I was gonna give basically the exact same score because like good symmetry, good shape and everything, no
Of my
couch.
feet or of your feet?
Of mine. I don't really remember what yours look like.
You don't?
Not really. I mean, I know we lived together, but I was like busy staring into your beautiful eyes instead.
My feet are down here, bud.
Oh my god. But no, all that aside, no, it's just like, pretty happy. And then I have big nails, admittedly, but not like long nails, if you get what I mean. Like the pink part is big, recognizable. So if I ever wanted to paint them, oh, I'd be set.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
there we go. So I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. So if any of you want to see an OnlyFans,
Oh my god. I kind of regret putting all of the feet stuff at the end because now, well, I mean, I guess it's good if anyone comes for Halloween stuff and they have it all at the beginning, but otherwise, at the end, they're just getting bombarded with foot questions.
I mean, to be fair, half of them weren't even like, it was a play on words. Like, I think we had a whole 3 that were actually about the body part.
No, but even the word foot, it does things.
It was too much. It'll be too much for certain audience members.
Truly.
But with that, you survived the game. You are let free of the curse of Halloween.
No, but okay, sure, why not?
Do you feel relieved?
I feel relieved.
Do you
So
feel like we
relieved.
won?
Yes, I feel like we won
We won. The only people who are going to lose are the audience members.
because they can't see our feet.
Nope. Because, like we said, you want to see it, you got to pay for it. Or wait till
Yep.
we get big enough and then we get a WikiFeet page and then we don't get like consent or money for it or anything.
No one does. But till then, ta-ta for now.
Toot toot for food.